Today we are honored to have Miss Megan from the Emerald Coast Wildlife Refuge. They are an essential part of our community. Miss Megan, would you be so kind as to kind of tell us what you guys do there?
A facility that rehabilitates injured and/or orphaned animals. Our primary goal is the rehabilitation and release of orphaned and injured wildlife.
And without you, many of our creatures would actually go hungry, orphaned, and die in the wild, or die at the hands of many, many humans. So we deeply appreciate you coming out. Do you have any plans for the future to expand?
We are opening a brand new facility in Navarre. It will be larger, we'll have an education building, and we'd also like to say a special thanks to Red Horse on Hurlburt Field and everybody else who has contributed to our goal.
With even the government helping us out via Red Horse, I'd like to ask, is there anyone else or anything else that we can do to further the cause and help you guys get to point A to point B?
You can go to our website, which is in the link down below. From there, you can click on our support tab, and it will redirect you to our Amazon wish list, which has everything we currently need. But we also are always in need of volunteers.
Yes, ma'am. I know all about those volunteers. They're a little bit fantastic. They even put on a haunted house every year in order to raise money for the shelter and the animals. So I'm going to have a huge post on below that's going to show you different ways to help and contribute to your funds and volunteers. Thank you so much, Miss Megan, for coming out and helping with us today. And we'll hear some testimonies from our wonderful guests tonight. Next, I would like to introduce Coyote. Miss Coyote, would you be so kind as to tell us a little bit about yourself?
I am a part of the canine species, along with domestic dogs and wolves. I can be recognized by my bushy tail that is low to the ground, my long ears, my thin frame. As an adult, I weigh about 25 pounds, and I can run up to 40 miles per hour.
Wow, with all that speed, you would have thought you caught that Roadrunner by now. So, what is your biggest fears?
My biggest predator is a human. 90% of my friends' deaths have been attributed to people with guns, poison, traps, or they've been killed by vehicles accidentally.
So that's how you ended up in the rehab facility. So tell me, what happens when you finally get released from there?
When I am fully recovered from injury or illness, I must be released back to the original place I was found. Otherwise, I would die and not be able to survive.
So when you're finally released back into your original habitat and everything, do you ever find that you come in contact with humans and they're fearful of you? Is there anything for us to fear from you?
Humans are not seen as a food source to me in the general wild. However, your dogs and cats are not safe.
Hide your dogs, hide your cats, because they eating everybody out here.
So Danielle Boone, thank you so much for coming out today with us. I'd like to ask you a couple of questions. What exactly happens when you're poaching?
If the woo-woo caught me, I will catch a fun or jail time. What is worth it? My food will go to the shelter.
Well, that fine is nothing to sneeze at. That's about $1,000. And you can spend up to a year in jail for a first-degree misdemeanor. That's pretty serious. So, do you know what happens to your kill if it gets away and you're unable to find it?
If I shoot them, they're gonna be dead anyways. Either from lead poison or an infected wound. Boom, boom, they're dead.
Well, that was a pretty good wrap up on what happens, but do you realize that most of the deer that come in have gunshot wounds, and the wounds become very septic, and it's quite an ugly death, in fact. And most of the meat is unusable because of the infections, so it won't even benefit the animals that are meat eaters, like the coyotes and the wolves and all the other predators that come in for gunshot wounds as well. So just a heads up, guys, if you are going to go hunting, I would suggest using a bow and arrow. So Squirrel, welcome to the show. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
What's up? I'm Squirrely. I can find food buried beneath a foot of snow. I got front teeth that never stop growing. Sometimes I pretend to bury my nuts to throw off you thieves. And you know, vote for me.
Well, I didn't know we were voting this time, but you definitely have my vote if we are. So tell me, you recently were in rehab. What happened at the rehabilitation center?
Rehab's alright, you know. The babies get to stay until they're like 10 weeks, and then they get transferred outside for a month in the yard, chilling, picking nuts, being evaluated. It's all good times. I usually stay between, 2.5 to 4 months, depending on how bad my leg is hurt.
So it says here that you were stabbed in the leg by a child with a pencil? Oh, good gravy. So when you finally got healed up, what happened?
I usually go home after I get released. Once I'm fully recovered, I get to go home, kick back my feet, dig up all my nuts, nibble a little. I get to plan on my retaliation to my little pencil stabber. That's right. I'm gonna find you and your family. Get my stab on.
Well, we know where not to keep the pencils now. So, Squirrel, thank you so much for coming out to hang out with us today. And I apologize for all the pain you went through, but we don't promote violence on this show. So we'll bring you back on a later time. Thank you. Thank you for watching our little video. Everything we discussed here is true, and the Emerald Coast Wildlife Refuge does need your help. The animals can be sponsored. You can also go to any of our sites listed below to volunteer your time, your money, or your resources like these videos. They do help. They are looking for volunteers. They are looking for people who are willing to come in and actually donate time as well. Their Amazon wish list is found below. And thank you again for watching our video. This is brought to you by Miss MG's Second Row English Composition 1 class. Thank you. Bye.